The title of my paper is An Esperanto of Evaluation. Beautifully, Ed today morning said that the core concern of Korzybski was sanity. And the questions that arise in my mind are, when was sanity born? Where was it born? Which was its birth date? What is its nationality? History has no such record whatsoever. So call it prudence, call it sanity, call it wisdom. It's a cumulative pile-up to which thinkers, philosophers, scientists, they have all contributed. Korzybski distilled, refined. It was a kind of process of cupellation in which dross goes out and pure gold flows in. But coming to the father of Western European civilization, Aristotle, he created a path, he walked a path, and then that path became a rut. When it became a rut, in course of time, it became an iron-clad template. Korzybski had the courage to break the template. He freed us all. He freed us all from what is called the laws of thought also have flaws of thought. He put the pulse right there and he said this Aristotelian ease. It is something like as though we are in the Times Square. There is no signage system. In the center there is only a luminous billboard and it says ease. And what it means, what this ease implies, he said this is ease. That's what he did. And he almost created a kind of checklist in his formulations, even for the layman to apply and clear obstacles in arriving at sane evaluation. I mentioned about the flaws of thought. The processes whereby we misperceive, misconceive, misexpress, misconstrue, misunderstand, and misevalue. They were laid bare by him so that we know that these are the pitfalls to be avoided. Now I come to the Esperanto part of it. Korzybski's own compatriot, L.L. Zamenhof, he was also Polish. And in his childhood, he heard Polish, German, Hebrew, Russian, which was spoken where he lived. And people had a very denigrating opinion of each other. They failed to understand each other. And he said, why can't I create a politically neutral, universal language, easy to understand, in which without interpreters, without teachers substantially, people can interact directly and understand each other. Today, Esperanto has notable presence in about 100 countries. The goals of Korzybski and Zamenhof were somewhat similar. And how? To reduce irritants, conflicts, misunderstandings by reducing misevaluation and bringing insanity by reckoning the territory. Both wanted to be facilitators, the father of Esperanto and Korzybski. Both wanted to be facilitators of improved relationships with facts, feelings, dealings, and fair deal. Both were passionately committed and worked, mark my words, they worked in different ways to provide different semantic emancipation. Zamenhof, semantic emancipation in the sense of a universal language. And Korzybski in the sense of semantic reaction, evaluationary processes which can be deployed by anybody and everybody. So they both worked in their own different ways for semantic emancipation of mankind. Now, when you have a problem, you need to raise consciousness about it. We may have ideals, abstract notions and all that, but if you want to put it into practice, we need to raise awareness. Female suffrage, for example, is just less than 100 years ago. It arrived on the scene. Before that, female suffrage didn't exist. Similarly, to explain the arbitrariness, in the vast wide space, there is no north, south, east, west, nothing. This is all arbitrarily determined by us. So in Australia, they have maps in schools in which they show Australia upside, towards the north, just to emphasize that this is all arbitrary. We are up, this northern hemisphere chauvinism. So to raise awareness about arbitrariness, this is how the maps are drawn. Similarly, those founding fathers mentioned about all men are created equal. It took the slavery continued and Emancipation Proclamation came many years later. The point is, we want to raise consciousness about something. And what do we devise? How do we do that? I have many illustrations. We need, Korzybski also had said that, I'm quoting Korzybski, we need new metrics to change the dogmas canalized in our nervous systems for hundreds or thousands of years. To change dogmas canalized in our system. So, to raise consciousness, we have to have a new matrix. A new matrix can be devised either by a change of meaning of a word in course of time. For example, words like know. The biblical word know, when he says Adam knew Eve, is something very different from know today. Then the words like rainbow, gay, all these are words which have changed meaning in course of time. That's one way. The second way is we can deliberately impart a new meaning. The bright movement by Richard Dawkins. He says bright means a person who holds a naturalistic worldview. So the bright as defined in dictionary or as described in dictionary is very different from the word bright used by Richard Dawkins on his website and among the followers of this view of life. We need to raise consciousness, have a methodology to raise consciousness, and after that to practice it. These days, for example, in Hong Kong, for pro-democracy demonstrators, the umbrella is the matrix. It's the symbol. It's the kind of hot button. I was reading an article 2 days ago that for the New York Police Department, for the NYPD, the broken window policy and zero tolerance. The moment these two words flash before the police, they are aware instantly about what the department is out to do. So like that, a time has come when we need to create buzzwords. I call them hot buttons. Hot buttons instantly raise awareness. They shine a beam of light upon the need to instantly attend to something here and now. And this is some food for thought for all of us. Korzybski himself invited us to do a lot of time binding. A number of his students and eminent scholars have contributed to time binding. And I just want to stress this, that an Esperanto of evaluation that I'm going to propound now is about the need to carry on the spirit of Korzybski without limiting, defining, freezing, or fossilizing general semantics. Korzybski always spoke of science as on date. So in the 1950s, what was science known to Korzybski is very different from science today. I would particularly urge to read Michio Kaku's The Future of the Mind, published this very year, a few months ago. The moment you read it, it changes the scenario. The project of Obama about mapping the neural network. We have mapped the genome. That project of Bill Clinton is complete. The present collaboration between Obama and European Union is about mapping the neural network, and it's called connectome. The moment connectome is complete, we will see that our methodology and formulations for carrying on the spirit of Korzybski will be somewhat outdated. And my contention is, it would be very tragic if by so defining we Aristotelize the formulator of non-Aristotelian thought. We need not fossilize GS as on a particular date, keeping in view the changing context, the new developments in science, the new language. People do not speak in terms of Shakespearean language today. There is Twitter, and there is SMS, and there is emoticon, which one never heard of 30 years ago. And if words like twerking can go viral, why not hot buttons like, and I am suggesting now food for thought, a short hot button like spelled M-Y-O-P-N-I-N, my opinion. So when I say Mopin, Martin is tall, it instantly makes it clear that it's a personal perspective, subjective standards are applied. It's not eternal truth carved in stone. Because I am 4 feet 6 inches, so I find Marty very tall. So Mopin is a hot button. It instantly raises that it's just an opinion. It's not the eternal truth. Similarly, a word like also. So when I say Marty is also a wonderful spouse, if I say that, it means apart from many, you know him as a professor and so and so and so and so and so and so. Or if I say that the writer and humorist, I forget his name now. Anyway, Ellen? No. Anyway, I don't know everything about the writer. I only know that he's a humorist and he's a writer. But suppose he were also a sumo wrestler, in addition to being that. I don't know. So I say XYZ, all's a writer. That's all. So like that, to identify an individual as a distinct person, not endowed with the characteristics of the class, which in my opinion, I have assessed. I use the word destined. So when I say destined Lance, it means I don't see Lance as belonging to the category of professor or Jew or athlete or anything whatsoever. I see him as, I devise the word a now, as of now, another one. And a now, as of now, here and now, what is he? That takes care of dating part of it. Now like these buzzwords, the hot buttons can be created whereby consciousness can be raised and instantly it comes into operational mode. And people don't have to memorize the formulations and start practicing it. It becomes a part of the flow of life. In the end, I would only say, Mopin, in my opinion, I also time rider. We all are time riders. Thank you.